So what if Apple decides to continue making specs irrelevant with the next MacBook Pros? Because yes, it looks like there won't be too many differences in what we've always known to be getting with the new M1X MacBook Pros. It seems Samsung is really focused on cutting down costs with the Galaxy S22, but the sacrifices are not great, and we have some other leaks on other products we're reportedly getting from Apple next month. I'm Jaime Rivera, and if you were to change the name of the show, what would you call it? This is Pocketnow Daily. Believe it or not, we have no official news today, which is a common thing as we're getting so close to iPhone. Because yes, we do have a lot of Apple things to go through, so we'll be splitting them in different segments. Kicking things off with the Apple Watch. It's been 2 generations since we got some changes for the case sizes, but things might be changing this year. Apparently, along with the redesign we've discussed before, it looks like we're getting some bigger watches. According to a tester that goes by the name of Uncle Pan. Funny. The Apple Watch Series 7 will come in 41 and 45 millimeter cases instead of 40 and 44 like we got last year. Of course, we should take this with a grain of salt, but this does go along with the leaks from other sources like Mark Gurman that mentioned that we could expect larger displays on a similar size chassis, so we'll see if that happens. Now, moving on to iPhone, all of the dummies and the renders so far show that the iPhone 13 Pro Max will bring a significantly larger camera module, but that might extend on its other siblings as well. According to a new leak from Phone Arena, the regular iPhone camera hump will go up to 4 centimeters from the 3.7 we got last year, and the Pro models will go up to 4.5 centimeters from the 3.9 we got last year. If you're wondering why the cameras are getting bigger, we're supposed to get new ultra-wide sensors with autofocus capabilities, new lenses, and sensor shifting stabilization across the board. We'll see what we end up getting in September. Now, speaking of September, let's talk about another product we're expecting to get a refresh soon, the iPad. And we also have 2 different reports for this one, so bear with me. Starting with the entry-level iPad, a new report from Digitimes claims that we could be getting the 9th generation device in September. The report mentions that sadly it won't bring any significant design changes, but we can still expect it to boost iPad shipments as much as 60 million units in the next year. This report also reiterates that we could be getting an iPad with a titanium build soon, but with the pandemic still going on, we wouldn't consider that to be the right time, or at least for that to be more of a pro thing. And then finally, Digitimes also claims that Apple believes that this is the best time to launch an iPad mini. So let's talk about that. We have some new concept renders from iDesigner based on the leaked design. We get to see the squared approach once again with the slimmer bezels, but one difference here when compared to processed renders from a few months ago is the color variants, which go along more with the iPad Air's palette instead of the regular colors we get from the Pro models. And just to recap on specifications, we're expecting a new iPad mini to bring an 8.4-inch liquid Retina display. It'll be powered by Apple's A14 Bionic and will bring up to 256 gigs of storage. Apparently, we're finally getting Apple Pencil 2 support, or even a rumored smaller variant, in addition to 5G, as well as Touch ID in the power button. I'm really excited for an iPad mini, but with the Z Fold 3, maybe not. And as a palate cleanser, let's shift gears onto Samsung and the Galaxy S22 series before we get to the hottest news. We have a new report from Tron that claims that Samsung is willing to remove some hardware from their upcoming flagship in order to cut some costs. We know that the company alternates between different kinds of cooling when it comes to their flagships. Sometimes we get graphite thermal pads, while on other cases we get vapor chamber cooling. On Tron's latest tweet, he says that vapor chamber cooling system that was present in the S10 series will not be added as of now in order to save costs. Apparently, the mobile team was planning to clock the new Exynos chip with the AMD GPU higher to get better performance and less throttling with the use of that cooling system, but higher management decided to go back to square one in order to cut down expenses. Tron claims that the mobile team is currently waiting on a decision confirmation from the VP on whether the cooling chamber will be added or not, and if not, they'll be going with the same heat dissipation design that we got with the S21 series, which is okay, but not great. So bottom line, nothing is set in stone at the moment, but it looks like higher management wants to bring the price down, but sacrificing some performance for it. The question is if the price is going to go down for you or only for Samsung. I mean, we'll see what happens because I'm all for lower price tags, but for consumers. And finally, for the hottest news today, let's move back onto Apple, but this time we'll be talking about MacBooks. We've been waiting on the new MacBook Pros for months now, and multiple leaks claim that we're finally getting them in the next couple of months, but it looks like Apple might be changing their strategy. According to a new tweet from Dylan, who has a pretty neat track record, he claims that it is comforting to note that both MacBook Pros that are coming this fall will have the same chip and the same performance, completely changing the usual strategy most PC makers follow, and definitely a win for those who want to opt in for a smaller variant. So just so everyone understands, I am referring to the 16 and 14-inch Pros, both bringing the same M1X chip. So it looks like for the first time, the only differences between the 14 and the 16-inch Pros will be the display size, the battery size, and most likely the starting CPU or GPU cores and clock count. But by the looks of it, you'll sort of be able to configure these with the same potential thanks to the M1X chip, allowing you to choose a beast on a 14-inch model. Now, Dylan does mention that the bump in specifications will result in a notable increase in the price when compared to the 13-inch MacBook Pro, but then we don't know if he's talking about the $1,299 current M1 MacBook Pro or the Intel one that's $1,799. Another thing that might add on to the price is the mini LED display that we might be getting. We'll see how that goes. But if you haven't, I highly recommend you watch yesterday's After the Buzz on the 16-inch MacBook Pro as I tell you how much of a mistake buying that computer was. That being said, which one would you pick of the new models, 14 or 16 inches? Because if they're the same computer, I'd prefer to go portable with the 14-inch model, but that's just me. Leave us a comment down below. We'd love to know your opinion. Friends, again, if you want to get the news earlier, follow us on Pocketnow.com and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. You can also follow us on social media. Our extended coverage happens on Instagram. And follow me on my personal handles to see me debate ideas that I've been thinking about for a bit. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw. I'm Jaime Rivera. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.